ATT Personal Tax May 2014 paper question 6, and this question has been adapted for the 2021 tax year. My name is Omar Aswat. Daniel bought some land in 2015 for £30,000, so that's our base cost. He had intended to build a cycling track on the land, but he was unable to obtain planning permission. That's fine. On 12th June 2020, when the whole plot was worth £75,000, he sold part of the land for £14,000. So that's our proceeds. Disposal, he sold part of the land for £14,000. Disposal proceeds are £14,000. This was Daniel's only disposal in the year, and the remaining land was worth £65,000. So the market value of remainder. So from this information, I already know we are looking at a part disposal because there is some land remaining and he sold a part of the land. So we're looking at A over A plus B. Let's have a look at the question. Explain how and why Daniel can minimize the tax payable in 2021 as a result of this disposal and the consequences of doing so. You are not required to calculate the gain. So keep that in mind. We are not required to calculate any gain. This question is for 3 marks, and we need to explain how and why Daniel can minimize the tax payable. So what we're looking at here then is the 2020 rule. And for the purposes of land, the part disposal can be treated as small. Part disposal treated as small if the 2020 rule is met, which is proceeds do not exceed 20,000 and the market value of the land prior to disposal does not exceed 20% of total value. Applying that information to this question, is the part disposal treated as small? Well, we know he sold part of the land for £14,000, so proceeds do not exceed 20,000, and the market value of the land does not exceed 20% of total value. Whole plot was worth 75,000, 20% of 75,000 equals 15,000, so we're just below. Therefore, this part disposal can be treated as small. Now, what does this mean? This means that if this part disposal is treated as small, then effectively no part disposal takes place. So what does this mean? It means that there is no disposal in the 2021 tax year. There just is no disposal. But what are the consequences of doing so? Base cost going forward is reduced by the proceeds. So in this instance, 14,000. The idea behind this is that if it's a small part disposal, then it might just cost a lot more professional fees, for example, accountancy fees, to take all this into account. So therefore, if it's treated as small, no part disposal takes place, you completely ignore it, but the base cost going forward is reduced by the proceeds. Keep in mind, the proceeds not exceeding 20,000 is not just for each part disposal, it's for the part disposals for the whole tax year. So this avoids any anti-avoidance whereby a taxpayer makes several part disposals up to 20,000 in a tax year. And this is an election that needs to be made. It is not automatic. Election. And the time deadline is anniversary of 31st Jan following the end of the tax year. In this instance, it would be 31st Jan 2023. Filing deadline is 31st Jan 22, and it's the anniversary of 31st Jan 2023. Hope that makes sense. This area of taxation is quite popular, and the legislation is found in Section 242 of TCGA 1992. Three-mark question. You would get a mark outlining the rules of the 2020 rule, which is very important. Proceeds do not exceed 20,000 and the market value of land does not exceed 20% of the market value. You'd get half a mark for mentioning no part disposal takes place in the tax year, and then the base cost is reduced by 14,000, another half mark. Election, half a mark, and key mark is the timing deadline, which is 31st Jan 2023, the anniversary of 31st Jan following the end of the tax year.